let's cut. There will be bought them out for a place called the Mountain in Northside. we we took Rucksack, put on our backs. We JCs did and brought them out to the edge of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Then for the truck to bring down to the beach so we could plant. And we ran the beach with a chain, and I still got. I think I still got from all those years. I still got a bucket with about half a bucket of chain left. At two, we were supposed to run that chain on the west side of the beach, but it was not declared at that time between Marin and the government. The government owned just on the other side. Between government, they own the section of that beach too. On the other side, there was a demarcated area of what the public beach, the 640 feet would be, and that chain, in other words, they were declared while I was still in JCs, and I don't know officially to this day, but officially declared where that line came between the 640 feet of beach and the rest of the property. Anyhow, I understand that Dart had bought it. So the guy who had some sort of a little restaurant going there right close to the public beach, Dart bought that out. So Dart comes right now up against the side of the public beach.
Yeah, well, that's the property I believe that was the Marins originally, where there was a little beachside bar type thing there. Anyway, now I know you were also founding member of the Rotary Club of Cayman, and of course the Chamber of Commerce. Can you give us just a little short thing on that? Whatever you remember about it?
Well, someone, I don't know, I just think it came to me, feeling that I was a public-spirited person, and cared about the island a lot. So therefore, some people came to me and asking if I wanted to be a member of Rotary. I think the Colonel from the United States, Colonel Porney, I think his name was, who was staying at the old
Beach Club or
Station Village there in South Sound area.
Oh, okay.
Pardon?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, anyhow, we met there, and this is where we formed the Rotary Club at that time. Now, I think that's still called the Rotary Club internationally. I think they got a couple other Rotary clubs besides that now, I understand, but that's what was found, and I served quite a few years there with that, on that. I think it was every Thursday or so we would meet. One of the last places we were meeting was at the La Fontaine Hotel. Which the name of that has been changed now. So anyway, that was like in Rotary or the Chamber of Commerce. I was serving Chamber of Commerce up until not at every meeting, but I was serving at the Chamber of Commerce all along, and I would also if I couldn't go, I'd get on the telephone to Wilford New or somebody else who was in charge with things I knew that was coming up, and made my commitments on things that should be discussed. And anyway, I kept in close contact with the Chamber of Commerce, I guess, more than anything else. And then in 1980, I think it is. Yeah, I was 80 years old. The Chamber of Commerce honored me as being an honorary member.
2017.
Pardon?
2017.
2017. Wait, say?
2017.
2017 is what? Well, 2017 is what you're saying. Anyway, I was given an honorary membership, so I went to pay my dues then for all the years. Sometimes you don't know how to pay no more dues. You're an honorary member. That'd be fine. Well, also, periodic cleaners also, I don't get to spend much time in those meetings, and but we pay our dues every year to it. And a member of CITA, Cape Island Tourist Association. So whatever I could do, I had time to do to help promote this island, and I've been doing it. Yeah.
Well, now I know you have dwelt in music quite a bit too, quite extensively. I would say for entrepreneur like you are, and all your civic responsibilities and all of your contribution. But you have recorded, I believe, was it 2 albums plus quite a number of single recordings?
Yeah, I did. I did, including the original part, I speak on the platter, 4 to 5 platter, and it's that too, and 3 other piracy songs. One of those was the Ghost of Edward Teach was at Blackbird, and then Sink the Galleon, and what was the third one now? Anyway.
Dockside Ditty, I know you recorded in there too also.
Pardon?
I said you also recorded Dockside Ditty in there somewhere.
Yeah, that was the fourth item with the this last CD I did. I'm gonna put five songs on that.
Yes.
Well, those first 3 songs, Pieces of 8, Sink the Galleon, and Ghost of Edward Teach. And then I included Dockside, did it for the heck of it. But one of my favorite songs that I like is, My Island in the Sun. And what caused me to really cherish that song, and I like that song, the wording of it, is that I remember when I used to sail on deck going up the Delaware River one night. It was cold as could be. So I thought I sang that song over a couple of times, and I said, if ever I've got a chance, I'm going to record that song. And, so that's included on that CD.
Yeah. Well,
plus I did 2 other CDs. Regular one was The Sound of a Voice, and then after meeting Joy, and then I liked The Sound of a Voice. I said, one of these days, I'm gonna record. I'm gonna get a song going to record that would tell about her voice, and so I named that CD The Sound of a Voice, and then the last one though was a spiritual song, spiritual CD that my older sister, Audrey, beloved sister, I would say, she said, you did pretty good on other songs, other CDs you doing. Why don't you record a gospel song? I said, well, let me think about it. Anyhow, I eventually did. And I was able to put, after the CD was done, I was able to put the master in her hand about 3 weeks before she died. And, that I feel like that was an accomplishment of what she wanted. So that was it. In her memory was like the gospel song.
Well, since we're here, we brought in the family here, and I know Joy is sitting there beside you. And Joy, do you want to pipe in here and have anything to say? Short comment here, and then we'll get to Mowbray, and then we're gonna see if we can connect up with Mr. Hartman. Joy?
Yes, it's actually, we've been married 20-something years now, and it's been a really exciting time, I'll tell you. It's been some fun times.
And you enjoyed every moment of it.
I sure did. I enjoy all those stories. I really do.
Yeah.
he's a very good person. He tries to do everything he can to help people, and it's been really great.
Okay, Mowbray, you want to pipe in there?
Yeah, sure.
Before Moby says anything, I want to say how, in other words, Moby was still going to school after Ivan, you know, and getting to the so advanced in his studies, he was about to go to college, and this is what I feel I'm a little set back in my mind, or sorry, I will have to call him to help me. But after Ivan, I had to call him to come to help me get things straightened out, because after Ivan, that shop was going to put a bad mess. The whole east side of it was blowing out by Ivan, and a lot of our supplies and everything was messed up. Some pumps were too, and so Moby did a lot since that and helped me out with the business, and especially now since I'm sort of semi-retired, as it were. So we still work together in principle on what's being done and what's going to what's going to go on in the business and so forth. And we're about to add another new 170-pound washer, in our business right now. But we're, of course, we did that in the hopes of, let's see how soon this virus is going to pass, so we can get some tourism back in here. But anyhow, Moby's been a great help, and so he's operation manager right now. I guess one of these days he'll take over management. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I guess Moby can pick this up now afterwards to say you want to go to Hart one. Okay?
Yeah, he'll pick it up here. Mowbray?
Yeah, okay, so just a brief overview of the family itself. There's 5 of us in total. So 3 girls before myself and my brother, so the 3 girls are all older. A lot of my accomplishments, or my father's accomplishments, we talked about today, happened even before I was born. So yeah, all of us 5 kids always took a stance in the business, and we just jumped in and did what we had to do and get it done. And yeah, my father was always a kind of person, always repeating, saying, time and tide waits on no man. In regards to things need to get done in a timely manner and get done before too long. So focus on one thing at a time and get it out the way. One other thing is, to do something at 100%, nothing done halfway is done right, so to speak. So it's been a continuous learning process along the way, as life really is, no matter what profession you get into. So it's been quite a journey for sure. And as I always say, my dad has really big shoes to fill. So. Just also a side note too is where Daco Water was actually started 10 years after Puritan started 62 years ago. So that means Daco was started 52 years ago. Daco Water Specialties, and sales of pumps and parts and all that kind of stuff. So that's about it. Yeah.
All right. I believe maybe.
What I'd like to say, and if I can at this stage, at one time before the central water system came in, Heartland, my brother and myself, we were doing pretty good business with supplying the water systems to the condos and hotels along the beach, and sometimes in the nighttime they call us out midnight, and we would go and get, if their pumps went down, whatever the case is, get them going again. So mainly the water source in those days, though, was Flowers water trucking system, putting into their cisterns or in tanks and so forth. And the pumps are hooked up generally, not to their water system, to their own cisterns or tanks, and that we would supply and maintain those. And I just want to give that a plug. Understand? Bear Heartland really helped me a lot when I was in the business until later on, then she decided to go into his own business. You know what I mean? And then Moby then continued to help me out with the Puritan business, cleaner business.
Okay, I'm not sure whether we've got Mr. Hartman on the telephone at this point or not, Fox, or we can get him on. Meanwhile, we're coming up pretty close to news time here. We'll take a commercial break right here, and maybe we can get Mr. Hartman on the telephone during that period.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you currently a member and interested in management of your pension plan? If so, consider volunteering to be elected as a trustee at our upcoming extraordinary general meeting to be held on the 4th of November. Please visit our website, chamberpension.ky, or email pensions@chamberpension.ky for further details. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
After a hurricane, do not use the public water supply until the Water Authority advises that it is safe to do so. If the water supply becomes contaminated and unsafe to drink, the authority will issue a boil water notice. To comply with the notice, boil water vigorously for 4 to 5 minutes and let it cool before drinking. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
The Record. For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you. For the Record. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM from 7:30 to 9 a.m. for Cayman's new Straight Talk morning show. For the Record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the Record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
The honeymoon over. A CNCF production heard on Radio Cayman Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 6:45 p.m. is proudly sponsored by Radio Cayman, Ministry of Culture, CUC, Grape Tree Cafe, Cayman Medical Supplies, and Puritan Cleaners. Make sure and tune in. You hear?
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And a reminder here, you're listening to CI Retro's Talk Today special presentation. And this is being brought to you by the Ministry of Health, Sports, Youth and Culture. They're always working diligently to protect the sustainability of the heritage, history and culture of our 3 Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands culture, wear it, love it, be proud of it. And I believe that we're going to connect up now with Mr. Hartman da Costa, Cardinal's brother, and he'll be speaking on behalf of him and his sister. Mr. Hartman, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I guess you've been probably listening a little bit to the program, so tell us about Big Brother.
Well, me and Katie grew up pretty close together. I call her KD.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went to a little one schoolroom here in Savannah until, he was 14 years old. To give a little bit of history. And Cardinal went to work with Mr. Clayton, riding his bicycle to Georgetown every day. Working there in the press shop. Now, during that time, Cardinal was riding a bicycle down there, man. He almost got killed from a set of dogs. They came out there by where Champion House is and threw him into the fence. The flesh from his arm was hanging on the fence. So he still didn't stop. He went on down there and worked that day. Cardinal worked there for years until Mr. Clayton got ill, and he kind of run his business for him then. After that, Cardi went to sea, and he closed it down. When he came back, he rented the place from Mr. Clayton and them. So we 3 brothers bought the place afterwards for business. went in business together, Wilbur, Cardinal, and myself. Now, I work with Cardi on, when I come back from sea, all the time, we were doing some installations. Well, the next thing, expanding the place. So my vocation was spent expanding Pure and Cleaners. Now, I think one thing about Cardinal, and nobody else, I don't think, knows it about cloth, like how you do. He could touch a piece of cloth right now and tell you exactly what could be done about that and what can be done about it. Now, I think, to be truthful, I think when his knees wear out, we're pressing on that presser. You know, you had to use that presser a long time to press steam clothes. Well, then we went in the laundry business, and I'll give you how tight that was. We had a couple of machines there, and Beach Club was the one who started up. There's a gentleman there who owned a manager. He would come up and bring the clothes and put it in the top window, and we would wash them quick, carry them back down, so they could have some linen put on the Beach Club area. We did that for a long time. Then Royal Palms came online, so we extended a little more, and me and Cardinal again, all like 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, we were still delivering clothes. We had home, come back, and could work by 7 again, and we expanded some more. And in order to keep up with the hotels, we had to work all them hours. So afterwards, then but I want to say something first before I get this far. Should have said it before. As far as the sending back those Cubans back to Cuba, I was very much involved with that myself. Because we used a company wagon then to go up there to block it. So when Cardi was outside, there was a whole bunch inside the terminal. The chief of police said, "Know something? I can lock you guys up." I said, "Chief, I don't think I got enough space for it, sir. But you can have a job to put this going to people in jail."
Well,
so I say, "Folks, let's go. Get these behind these guys. Let them get back on that plane. They're not spreading no communism to Cayman. Let's go. Let's go."
Mr. Hartman,
and I was a big supporter behind that.
Right. Okay. Well, can we just pause here for a second? We got to take the news at 2 o'clock, and we'll come back. Just stay on the line. Okay.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. Some of the students, parents, and teachers at Red Bay Primary are being tested for COVID-19 after a student tests positive for the disease. Government Information Services says the child is symptomatic but not in the hospital. Contact tracing is underway, and as test results come in, we're told we will learn more. Public Health is reaching out directly to those who may have been in contact with an exposed person. But if you're concerned about yourself or your family, you can contact HSA at hsa.kay to schedule a PCR test for COVID-19. Radio Cayman will continue to monitor the situation and will bring you any new information as we receive it. Now here's Felicia Rankin-Solins. She has the rest of the day's headlines.
Experience Cayman, the free virtual festival hosted by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, goes live today. The virtual festival is free and online for 8 weeks at gov.ky/experience Cayman. In international news, a widely used diabetes drug has been recalled after manufacturers found it contained unacceptably high levels of a cancer-causing contaminant. Indian pharmaceutical company Marksans Pharma Limited is recalling metformin hydrochloride extended-release tablets, according to a recall published this week by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Metformin tablets are used to treat type 2 diabetes and are designed to lower glucose levels.
Armenia and Azerbaijan have begun their first direct talks since clashes over the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region flared up again nearly 2 weeks ago. The talks in Moscow between the country's foreign ministers are being mediated by their Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. The UN says it is concerned by reports that populated areas are being shelled. More than 300 people have died and thousands displaced since the latest violence broke out on September 27th. The 2020 Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to the United Nations World Food Programme. The agency was given the prize for its efforts to combat hunger and improve conditions for peace. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
Stronger, wider, higher, lighter. The all-new Ford Ranger Raptor. Powerfully built with a 2.0 diesel Panther engine and 210 horsepower. Modern with leather interior and 8-inch touchscreen, Sync 3 technology and power features. Tough, built to handle the off-road with 4-wheel drive, terrain modes, and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Coming early October to Vamped Motors, Walkers Road. To find out more and to test drive the bold new Ford Ranger Raptor, visit Vamped Motors, Walkers Road, or call 949-8288.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm Evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Heard the Call will be by Savannah Meadows, October 14th and 15th.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers that a portion of Walkers Road between the junctions of Hospital Road and Boilers Road will be closed to the motoring public from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday, 11th October. This temporary road closure is necessary to facilitate the installation of new water infrastructure in the area. During this time, local access will remain available and representatives of the authority will be on hand to direct local access traffic. Traffic signs will be posted in the general vicinity, and all motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its valued customers as it upgrades its water infrastructure to better serve you and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
The Fall 2020 Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The Labor Force Survey collects data on employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households in all districts. The interviewers will exercise appropriate COVID-19 protocols using personal protective equipment. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the statistics law. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO on 516-3329.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And as you can hear, I'm not Sterling Dwayne, but anyway, we're back here.
Almost handsome though.
And hopefully that we have Mr. Hartman still on the line. Mr. Hartman, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Yeah, and we can pick up right where you left off there. That you made some comments on that airport incident, and you can just continue here.
Yeah, well, I said on that, boy, that's one time came on showing its unity, and I said, was it there, bring Carnum up together, and the chief police say he will put us all in jail. I said, well, no, I don't think so, Chief. You're not going to trace. So, of course, I said, don't listen to this. And I remember tell him, your daughter said, boy, Hartman, I said, man, that was good. You made him know what's going on. Anyway, that's history.
Okay.
But I understand. United States published in the newspaper there, they came and did what they couldn't do, send back Cubans.
Yes. Yes. So anything else?
Anyway, let's get on with Cardinal. And I have more to say about him. Cardi really, we worked together there as the company grew. But I had a spell from going to sea. That's why I was there along with him. We went into the water business, and we did the installation there for the Legislative Assembly building, and also the courthouse. On the ground, we put a water system in there, the biggest one I think on our island was done. So through us, with MEDAC, not MEDAC, that's my company, with our Myers pumps, and we supplied, because there was no water systems at the time, so we had enough pressure in there to do the whole town courthouse there and the Legislative Assembly building, which were two different pump rooms. And we're back now with Cardi and his other work there. We worked together for quite a while. He'll tell you about how doing the water side. So after a while, I went back to sea, so I sold my share out to him. Wilbur sold his, so Cardi fully in charge right now. And I must congratulate him on the work he's done, because, boy, that's not easy. As I told you about his needs, he did some pressing of clothes on the little presser, and that's a lot of force to push that machine lock. Every time you press down on a shirt or a pants, and I congratulate him, and I know he was instrumental in saving that public beach, because I'll tell you why. When Doucette came here, Doucette, set up that big company he has there called the Rotunda, based on the Rotunda from Sarasota, Florida, and the street was supposed to go down back there, and they want to enhance the whole beach so it could be part of that development. By him and the JCs got together, that was stopped. And I congratulate him on all his accomplishments, and that's what I have to say about him, because up until now he's still working. I tried to get him to sell the place while he was ahead, but he won't part with it. He got 50-odd years there. Anyway, good luck to Katie.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Hartman, for your input, and very important input, and nothing like brotherly love, huh? Is what they say.
That's true, man.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you for your input.
You're very welcome, very welcome.
Well, I guess we're kind of coming down to the end of the program here, but Mr. Cardinal, you're still on the line, and you're still there, hopefully.
Still here.
Yeah.
I just want to thank Hardy for his assistance.
Okay. Let me ask you this now. As we've sort of chronicled here a bit about your life.
Sometimes I'll say with you, Tim and I'll say this: we disagree to agree.
Yeah. As I was saying, we sort of kind of chronicled your life here over the last, 85 years. And I know you've recorded some inspirational music, that is religious music, but can you comment on what influence your faith have had in your journey?
What? Say that again?
Your faith. Your religious faith, what influence have that contributed in your journey?
Well, let's put it this way. Actually, I believe in God, and I also believe that God will help those who try to help themselves. And I was thinking, I had this thought, I sort of live with it, and when Cumber came to the island, John Cumber, he was one of our commissioners and administrators, and I never forget, he quoted it himself to somebody else, that God will help those who try to help themselves. I said, well, that's the same faith or belief I've had all along. You know, you got to try. Just don't believe that God is going to drop something in your hand. You have to work for it. You have to believe. You have to believe in yourself and believe in God. God will assist you. That's my belief.
Well, you know, you've led a very interesting life, and you know, you've got a beautiful family. You've got a good wife that's standing beside you, and you had your former wife did a lot, made a great contribution, I'm sure, to all your success over the years. And you mentioned that song "Island in the Sun" is one of your favorites, and we're going to thank you and Joy and Mr. Hartman and Mowbray and Silver Fox over near the studio and Sterling Dwayne here on the other side for helping us with this program. And we really want to do more of these type of programs, highlighting the contributions of. There are many people out there who deserve to be highlighted, their life story, and Radio Cayman actually have done quite a number before, and we hopefully that can do quite some more in the future. And
let me say this. Well, I hope, if it's possible, you could close off with that song at the end, "My Island in the Sun." It's not the Jamaican one. It's another song with the same title, and it starts off with you know, in the pictures I saw it was so pretty.
Yeah, so I think we've got it. We've got it queued up over there on the other side. And
got it keyed up, all right.
Yeah.
But one more thing I want to say. Actually, let me tell you, I often think about this, and I hope I'm glad I have the opportunity to say it while it's on the air. Boy, I got to thank you for what you're doing to the Cayman Islands, the history of its people, both seafaring and otherwise. And you're doing a great job of it. And sometimes I wonder how you manage to get the time to get all this information together. And you're doing a great job, and I'm proud of you for it. Okay? and I thank you. Okay?
Well, thank you, Mr. Cardinal. Thank you much. And well, it's a passion that I guess sort of grew up with and have, and I think a lot of what you know we've done here at Radio Cayman, we've got to also give Mr. Doran Miller credit for, because he had that same passion, and he did a lot of the work. And I'm just trying to, you know, as time permits, do some more.
Yeah, so. I'd like to add something else. I mean, the point is this: you especially, with your family, especially being living in the United States, and that's where you were schooled and raised up and so forth, and you had the opportunities to continue living in the United States. But like some of us, you want to get back to the island to see what we can do to add to Cayman, what we can try to help to contribute to make it the place it is. And we're hoping, and we're trying to get people to understand. You come here, you must learn to understand the Cayman way of life, you know, and to help us promote this. And I thank you again, Alkalatri.
Well, it's I term it CI sensitive, and everything that is done, that should be done, has to be CI sensitive, or we'll run it off the tracks. So thank you again for participating, Cardi, and we'll be in contact. And Dwayne, anything you want to add before we close out here?
Yeah, well, Mr. Loxley, I say this to you sometimes privately, and I hope for a few times publicly. I echo in what Mr. Cardinal shared, your energy and enthusiasm, and looking at you, looking at the team here, sometimes it's hard to figure out, well, which one of us is in the teens and which one of us is in the 20 teens, right? Your youthful energy. But to be able to focus on someone like Mr. Cardinal, the industriousness relative to the entrepreneurial pursuit, but also the civic mindedness. I commend him for reminding us that, not long ago when the population was probably not more than 5,000, almost everybody came out in unison. not in a sense of aggression and force, but in a sense of solidarity in democracy for what was the political sort of mindset of the time. And maybe we can take a page from so many of the things that have transpired in our history to show that a people united can stand. And Mr. Cardinal, I think, as they say, beside every man, is a greater woman. A man who has set an example for his children to follow, and hopefully through that example they can pass on some very, very great values and virtues. You shared earlier through your son when Mowbray talked about, time and tide waits for no man. I think every single Caymanian boy in particular heard their fathers, say that, and we understand what that means. Now, hopefully, we'll take up that mantle, and we'll get very, very, involved and become very instrumental in forging what a history. Perhaps I could echo what you shared and invite all who call Cayman home, who've come here to live and work, whether we've been here for generations, whether we're going to be some of the new recruits out of Hong Kong or some of the others, in their minds in escaping other places or capitalizing on economic opportunities, that we value what we have. We contribute to make this a beautiful place, and we lead, govern, and act with a sense of humility and integrity, and not abuse whatever power and authority has been vested in us. So I commend you for taking the time. I value and respect Ms. Joy's commitment and dedication. If people would hear that and not misinterpret what I'm saying, because a family that doesn't stick together, pray together, work together, laugh together, have differences of opinion in a healthy way, then we can't progress. So it's an honor to sit there, Mr. Loxley.
Well, I think, picking up on what you're saying, we got to really stick together. And but I think there's another aspect of it here. We got so many people coming in over our shores who have no CI sensitivity knowledge. And I think maybe we need to do more of that kind of, call it, educational process of sensitizing these folks to our CI sensitive.
It's a two-part process, right, sir? The mantle needs to be passed from one generation to the next, but then the receiving generation is like a relay. The guy who's coming on the track full speed may have the baton in the hand extended, but if you're going to receive it and you don't have your hand back to receive it, it's going to drop. Right? And when it's passed, you got to be able to hold firmly and move forward productively, positively, and with a passion. And somehow we're losing that, man.
That's the thing. We have to be careful that we just don't get buried too deep. That there'll be no sprouts left to come up. Mowbray, you got anything you want to say before we just take leave here?
Before.
Yes, sir, Mr. Gardner. Sorry, Mowbray.
Go ahead, Card.
Yep. But before Mo goes on, I just want to say to Sterling too. I want to thank him very much for his commitment in the radio show, and it helps everybody a lot. Okay, and I just want to commend him on that. I thank him again so hard. Moby can move on.
Okay. Just like to take a short moment to really, reach out to the staff at Puritan and say a big thank you to everybody there that's been with us so long, and even the newcomers also. I mean, we've got an awesome team put together that's facilitating the whole island. I'm very proud of them. And I also take the opportunity to thank Loxley and also Sterling. Had a great job, awesome job, and keep it up.
Well, thank you, and that will just about do it. But before we go, we want to remind you that this CI Retro Talk Today special presentation.
Yeah, Loxley, I'd just like to say one more thing.
Okay, one more thing, Card.
If you can get, when I don't know, one of the things I think you could think about is to get Caymanian, younger Caymanians especially, is to know just where we came from and to learn to appreciate this island better, and learn to appreciate how we got here. When you think about, in other words, the seafarers, when I say seafarers, I mean the guys who went out the keys in those early days on schooners and so forth to catch turtle to sell to another country and that sort of stuff, that they put themselves just their lives and their families at this all they had in those days were their compass and their barometer. The barometer would go down, would fall, and they know heavy weather was coming or hurricane was coming, but they didn't know where it was coming from. So they didn't really know how to prepare themselves. So many vessels was lost, so many men was lost, and yet we built our vessels. We went back to sea again. We ordered the canvas and that sort of stuff. We United States also the mast. We set the mast. We took the vessels. We built vessels, took them into the North Sound, and we laid them on the side in order to get to step the mast and that sort of stuff. And it is so much in our history of where we came from, right up until the days of national ball carriers and that sort of stuff, where guys would go out with an elementary education and come back home, and years later with a captain or a chief engineer's license, although they had to go ashore, spend some time ashore to even bring their standard of education, general education level up in order to gain their licenses and so forth. But they stuck to it from the lowest of wipers and that sort of stuff in bedroom, operators, bedroom service and that sort of stuff, right on up to captains, chief engineers, that sort of stuff. So therefore, it is so much that our younger people got to learn and appreciate of what was done by our forefathers. We don't want to go back as far even as far as 1830, the first what do you call it?
Official representative government establishment. I guess that's what you're making reference to.
Yes, sir. All right,
Card.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
God bless, sir. Thank you.
Thank you again, and we'll just pick up where we left off here with Mowbray. Anything you want to say? Okay, nothing. So we remind you here that this CI Retro Talk Today special presentation was brought to you by the Ministry of Culture, Health, Sports and Youth. They're always working diligently to protect the sustainability of our heritage, history, culture of the Cayman Islands, the 3 Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands culture, wear it, love it, be proud of it. And we thank all you folks around the table here and our listeners, and we will go out with, before that though, getting like Cardi now, before that, he mentioned the seafarers, and in the future, between now and February, as we know that January Heroes Day is in celebration of the seafarers, we are going to try to, well, all things being equal, we will have some programs highlighting the work of these seafarers. And the one thing that I keep saying, we got to remember that really seafaring, the Cayman Islands maritime heritage, did not really begin, because sometimes it gets a little muddled there with Southwell, but it began way back, as Mr. DaCosta just mentioned, way back in probably the late 1700s, if you go back and pick it up. And we've had, people leave Cayman who became captains. There was one that was born down there in Westby, in section they used to call Banksville, Sam Parsons. He was at one time was Commodore of the Texaco tanker fleet, and before I guess it was the early 60s, all of those fuel companies, Texaco, Esso, Pure Oil, they all had big tanker fleets, and that was where Southwell came in. He convinced them that he could transport not only Southwell, well, that was Ludwig, I guess. Ludwig, some of the other ones, they could transport their cargoes cheaper than they could maintain this big tanker fleet. But this guy, Sam Parsons, that we're talking about, he was Commodore of the Texas tanker fleet, which at that time probably had 50, 60 big tankers hauling fuel all over the world. But that's just some more of the history that we intend to make CI sensitive to all of our residents and those coming across. or shores. And Fox, I know you've got that, and thanks to you for pushing all the buttons over there across the way. And he's got those songs queued up. This is one of Mr. Cardinal's favorite songs, Island in the Sun, and I think he'll also play a selection from Cardinal's religious album that he produced. Thanks again for listening, and thank you.
And the picture that I saw, it looked so pretty. But that was before I lived here in the city. But there's money to be made, and girl, that's why we stay. Well, it won't be long until we're on our way. Oh, there's an island in the sun, shine this light on everyone, where the skies are painted blue instead of gray. Oh, there's an island where I know we can find that room to go, and it won't be long until we're on our way. Girl, we have a dream, let's not forsake it. Please stand by me, and we can make it to where the water's pure and fine, and it's sunny all the time. Well, it'll be long until it's yours and mine. Oh, there's an island in the sun, shine this light on everyone, where the skies are painted blue instead of gray. Oh, there's an island where I know we can find that room to go, and it won't be long until it's yours and mine. It won't be long until it's yours and mine. It won't be long until it's yours and mine. It won't be long until it's yours.
I'm only human. I'm just a woman. Lord, help me believe in what I can be, in all that I am. Show me the stairway that I have to climb. Lord, for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time.
Un día a la vez.
One day at a time. Sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. So help me today, show me the way, one day at a time.
Un día a la vez. remember when you walked among men. Well, Jesus, you know, as you look and below, is worse now than then. Doubts and confusion clouding my mind. Lord, for my sake, teach me to turn on the Olives.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you.
Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do.
Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. So help me today, show me the way, one day at a time.
On the Olives.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. So help me today, show me the way, one day at a time.